You guys know it by now. Not every single athlete's journey is the same, and that's the beauty of this show is that we get to bring on people from all walks of life with different journeys throughout the sports world with a goal to make it better and make it to the next level. Today we get to bring on a quarterback who has broken records in the Division 2 level, who's trying to make his way into the professional realm. And you're going to get to hear his story because it's one heck of a journey from a shy guy who's a leader on the field through his example, who has a winning mentality, all the way. He's been playing football since the age of 3. And you guys will learn more about that here in the interview. You guys don't want to miss this. It's going to be an amazing interview about hard work, dedication, battling through adversity. So if you're a coach, athlete, parent, whatever, you need to tune in, listen to this as we learn from our guest today on the Game Time Guru. So,
what time is it? Game time!
This is the Game Time Guru podcast, where I interview sports figures from all over the world to help deliver a panoramic view on sports. So whether you're a former athlete, one of the crazies, or simply a casual sports fan, this is the perfect show for you as we peel back the curtains and learn from our guests every single week. I'm your host, Shane Larson, and I'm helping you see sports through a different lens. What's up, everyone? Welcome out to the Game Time Guru podcast. I am your host, Shane Larson. This is a special episode today because we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. You might be hearing this on an audio only, but if you're actually watching this, we're recording this live, streaming it into our Facebook group. So I wanted to first say, if you haven't followed me on my social media feeds in the last 3.5 years, go do so. I've got my Facebook page, my Instagram, and my Twitter. Go follow me there. That's where I do a lot of interactions with my guests and my audience. We love to just, promote sports content and communicate with you guys. So if you guys happen to come across this on the live feed, leave us some comments. We'd love to hear from you. But I'm going to be speaking with a very special guest today. His name is TJ Edwards, and he finished his senior season over at the University of Indy. It's called UIndy. And if you can correct me here, the Great Lakes Valley Conference? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure I got it correct there. And we're going to be talking to him because the man finished a pretty dang decorated career as the all-time leader in completions, passing yards, passing touchdowns. He had 13 300-yard passing games. The guy knows what he's doing. He's a crazy talented quarterback, and we're going to get to learn his story. So, TJ, we just want to say welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it. I want to thank you for joining me. Let me come on the show. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we're going to get to know your story. The first question I want to ask you, though, before we even get to know the background and the whole journey, is what has football taught you? What's the biggest lesson football has taught you in your life?
With me, I know life just comes with adversity, just on the field. So with me, I try to, everyday life, just try to stay calm, cool and collected, keep a level head because I know anything can happen at any time. So, just handling different situations every day is something that what football has taught me. Because, football, anything can happen. So being able to think on my feet, that's something that I've got from the game.
Absolutely, man. That's super cool. I like to hear that from the athletes themselves, just showing the audience, whether they're, fanatics or they're just the casual sports fan. I love to let them see the lessons that sports teach you. So obviously in the world that we're dealing with right now, adversity is huge. We're going to go through a lot of adversity, and, TJ just mentioned it right here, guys. Football has taught him how to overcome that and how to keep a level head when you're going through adversity. And some people might say that's a little dramatic because it's a sport, but I'm telling you right now, as a sports fan and as a former athlete, those who have followed the show, that I'm a huge believer that sports teach you life lessons. You go through adversity on the football field, whether you throw an interception or whether you do this or your team's behind, you've got to keep a level head and you got to figure out how to move forward, how to think neutrally, how to keep playing to the next play, one play at a time. I think that's awesome, man. Now, TJ, give us a little background real quick on where you're from. Before we even got to UIndy, we got to learn a little bit more about your background. So as a kid, right, let's talk about your childhood, where you grew up, and when you were introduced to the sport of football.
All right, so I'm from Dallas, Texas. That's actually where I'm located right now. Dallas, Texas, Texas is big on football. So I actually started playing organized football at the age of 3. But in Texas, you're supposed to start at the age of 5 for flag. So my dad was my coach, so he was able to do what he wanted with me. So he kind of started me early at the age of 3, and since then, I fell in love with it. Being starting from playing on the line, just running around the field to later on becoming the quarterback and also playing receiver. Because I have an older brother who I played Little League with as well. He played with me, so I play a little receiver as well, Little League. But really was just playing Little League in Dallas. Really good competition. A lot of actually one of my teammates, it actually just went first round to the Seahawks this year. Jordan Brooks, out of Texas Tech. So he was actually my running back all throughout Little League. So we had a couple good athletes. Another former player, Marcus Garrett for Kansas. For KU. He plays basketball, but he actually was a football star growing up. So just playing Little League, kind of learning the in and outs of the game, competing at a high level with a lot of guys around the city. Just falling in love with the game. That's kind of where it started.
I love that, man. That's 3 years old.
Yes,
That's
sir.
that's crazy.
Yes, sir.
So let me tell y'all something now. Now that I didn't know that, so I'm learning as I'm doing the interview with TJ. This is the first time I've ever met TJ. So, dude, you say 3 years old. When I first entered into the boxing gym, I was 15 years old, and I remember looking at these kids. There was 4-year-olds in there, and I was like, oh, no wonder these guys, like their dads have been fighting their whole lives and so forth. I was like, no wonder they're so good. Like they're starting them up when they're so young.
Yes,
But
sir.
even in Idaho, man, like we didn't start playing flag football till we were 7. All right. Like you had to be 7 years old to play flag back then when I was playing. And so like the fact that you were 3 years old, just getting used to the sport and whatnot,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. Like
Yeah.
Texas, they do things differently over there, man. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, 7 years old. That's the first year of tackle. So 7 and 8 is the first year of tackle. 9 and 10 second year of tackle, and then 11 and 12 is the last you can play. So
Dude,
that's how,
dude, tell me this. Tell me this. In Little League, okay, so Texas, they do things differently. We know that, right? Like it's a big football world over there. It's like their own little universe of football. Tell me this, TJ. When you were in Little League, your dad was coaching you at first and whatnot. You were playing with your brother. What were the parents like? Because we've seen like documentaries and shows about like the parents getting crazy. Was it like that when you were playing?
sad to say, but yeah, it gets that on the sideline sometimes. Everybody wants to win out here, so we have like Super Bowls, just like they do in the NFL. So, it's kind of big out here to win the Super Bowl each year and to have that that name on your team until the next upcoming season. So, yeah, it's pretty. It gets pretty crazy out there. I could say at a couple of our games, it got pretty crazy.
Oh man, that's so crazy. I love it though. I think it's interesting. I mean, some people are like, parents are nuts," but dude, they want to win. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a lifestyle where y'all are from. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we get a little bit of an example like in our little leagues around here, even in Idaho. But I've seen the shows, so I just wanted to hear it from someone who's actually played there.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yes, sir.
Um, so tell me this, TJ, as you're growing up, you're a football guy. Did you ever play in any other sports? I've always wondered that from people that, compete in a state like Texas or California, anywhere that's like huge into football. Did you have time for other sports or did you focus simply on football?
Actually, growing up, I played basketball and football. I did a little AAU. My Uncle Sherman Boy, he had a AAU team, Swag House. Swag standing for students with attitude and man, I can't remember, but the letters are abbreviations for something. But I played for them all AAU, and then actually getting to the ninth grade, my dad decided that I should just focus strictly on football. So after the ninth grade, I played actually freshman basketball. We won district champs. Shout out to Lakeview Centennial Patriots. We won district champs, and then after my freshman year, I went strictly football. So that came with like going to the camps and everything, because that's during the summertime, as well as AAU basketball. So that's when I focused more on football, was after ninth grade year.
Interesting, man. Because we've actually had an episode before where we talked about that, and typically the time frame when people start to focus on one sport over the other when it comes into the high school realm, and it's usually about that 9th or 10th grade level. They start to hone in on one if they want to play at the next level. That is.
Correct.
So First off, I want to hear what was your favorite up until high school. What was your favorite youth football experience or memory that you have?
Oh wow! So actually, at the age of 8, ESPN at the time was doing like home videos. They were going to different states and just taking like some of the top players of the state. I actually was a top player in the state of Texas around that age, and my dad sent in my film, and I was actually able to be aired on ESPN for like a minute 30 seconds. Miss Kelly, she talked about me or whatnot, and they actually did an interview with me, and you could actually hear you can hear my voice, and I show a lot of my friends now, and you can just hear how baby I sound at the time. But uh, that was a good experience, and that I had during Little League. It's something that a lot of kids don't get to experience, and just being able to be on that platform at a young age, I really enjoyed it. Uh, it was pretty big time for sure.
Oh yeah, man, you got the spotlight at a young age, man. A lot of people don't ever get that, not even once in their life. That's super
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yes,
actually
sir.
really cool. Do you
Yes,
have
sir.
that? Do you have that clip anywhere, like just locked up at home or something, or do you have to just
Yeah,
YouTube
I,
it?
I actually have it on my phone if you want me to grab it for you, but I can send it over to you, or if you want me to pull it up right now, I could.
Well, let's do this after the interview's done. Let's chat and we'll see if I could like take a look at it. It'd be awesome just to watch it, man. I don't
I'm
know,
a,
and unless you have it posted on a
I'm a-
social platform, we could check it out. I think that's super cool, man.
yeah, most definitely. I don't have it posted. I think I might have it on my Twitter from a long time ago, but you're able to find it on YouTube. All you do is type my name, TJ Edwards, make Sports Center, and it'll come up.
DJ Edwards makes Sports Center.
Yes, sir.
DJ Edwards makes Sports Center.
I'm in the
Okay,
black.
let's for anybody who's seeing this, TJ Edwards makes Sports Center. I think Sports Center is probably 2 words, but yeah, I just put that on here on the little post right here. If you guys are watching the live feed, TJ Edwards makes Sports Center. Check that out on YouTube. I'm gonna do it as well as soon as the interview's over. That's awesome, man. That's freaking dope. I dig it. So let's get into your high school career, TJ. You get into high school, you're playing in Texas. Listen, for anyone listening, whether you're in the United States or outside of the United States, some of my listeners, they might not be huge American football fans. I got people all through Brazil where I lived for 2 years
Oh,
that are soccer fans. But I'm going to tell y'all something real quick. High school football in Texas, American football in Texas is a different type of world. I'm telling you right now. You heard TJ talking about it earlier. He started at the age of 3. Even the little league system is a little bit different. It's just it's very serious. Talk to us about your high school experience in football and how was there any pressure playing high school football in Texas, or was it kind of like just you were already inside that culture and you were ready to rock and roll? But what was it like going through high school football in Texas?
yeah, Friday Night Lights in Texas is really big time, especially like with the rival games. A lot of games make TV, so the news, and a lot of them are aired on a lot of the local channels. So, sports is big out here. Again, like I said, the rival games, and we do pep rallies. Normally homecoming, but if we start off pretty good throughout the year, we'll do a pep rally for every game. So, pep rally consists of everybody. Like it's the last period of the day. Everybody come in the gym, and we walk in. The team walks in, and then it's like a 30 minutes to an hour just like a little festival of cheerleaders dancing, music, lights flashing in and out. Just kind of a little big preparation for us, getting our mind right for the game. That's something I really, really enjoyed during high school was the pep rallies. But then just Friday Night Lights, being under the lights and, hearing the band play, it's pretty dope. And then again, like I said, if you got friends in the city who play for your opponents, so it's a good back and forth, battles. I really enjoyed it. But my career in high school, um, I didn't play get on varsity till my junior year, but I didn't start on varsity actually until my senior year. My junior year, I played the first 4 games of the preseason because the starter actually got hurt the first game of the season. Playing Dallas Carter. If you guys know about Texas football, Dallas Carter was a big program, big time program. So we played them first game of the season. We were down 19 with the starting quarterback suffering a concussion. So me as a junior, I was thrown into the fire first game. and we actually brought us back. We lost only by 6. I threw 3 touchdowns. I ran for 1. Pretty big time game. With Dallas Carter being a big time team, so the crowd was pretty big. So I enjoyed that game, but I competed in the next few preseason games because we do kind of like the NFL. We do a few preseason games and then we start district, and then as well as playoffs. So I competed in the remaining of the preseason games, and then they allowed the senior to remain as the starter for the district games because that was his senior year. So that was my junior year. I had a decent junior year, with the games that I did play, and then senior year was a big time year. After the 4th game, I was among the top 10 Golden Arms, which consisted of Kyler Murray, Tristan Wallace, Chasen Virgil, and a lot of big time quarterbacks that was coming up in my class, 2015 in the Texas area. So I started out pretty good. One of my key receivers kind of transferred me on me throughout the year, throughout the midseason of the year. So we didn't make playoffs, but had a pretty decent year. Ran for 1,000 yards as well for throwing for 2,000. Only 2 interceptions. And then I ended with no D1 offer, just a total of 8 D2 offers. So kind of in Texas, if you starting off, it's kind of a big state. They know it's a lot of talent here. So if you're not kind of like on the varsity level, getting recruited like your sophomore year, it's kind of hard going D1. So that's kind of like what the situation I was in. But it wasn't bad. I thank God for everything that happened. Everything happens for a reason. And that's kind of how I ended up at SBU.
Totally, man. That it's crazy because, looking at you too, like you have all the talent in the world. First things first, I want to make sure we address that because some high school athletes, sometimes it's the situation you're in. I mean, you're in Texas. There's a ton of talent there. It doesn't mean you're not talented because you didn't start till your senior year. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You got a lot of talent. I guess that's the way it is where you're at. If let's say if you were to come to Idaho, you'd have been starting since you were a freshman, most likely. You know what I mean? That's the reality of it. And that's no disrespect to my
Yes,
fellow athletes around Idaho. Like it's just the reality of the athletic world in which we live. And so it's awesome to see that you kept fighting through and just kind of like learning along the way. And then you got your opportunity when you were a senior. And you mentioned it again, like receiver transfer, like all this stuff, like that's adversity that people don't realize. Like that stuff throws you off. And you just have to find a way to like be a leader. And I'm curious, man, like as you're a senior and you're starting for the first time before we get into the college realm, and you're leading your team, what would you say is your biggest leadership attribute as a quarterback? What's the biggest thing you do as a leader to help your program, especially in high school? What was your biggest leadership attribute?
I'm the type, I lead by example, but I'm very vocal when I get on the field. I didn't tell you guys, I'm a shy guy, so I'm not the type to be all loud, out in public. But I can say, like, when I get on the field, I just click into another gear, another mode, another mindset, and I get my guys going. But I like to lead by example. So first few plays or whatnot, I like to, show them, how I'm attacking the game for the first play from the first snap. So coming through our high school, me being the oldest guy on the field, me being a senior, I just try to lead by example and show them guys that I'm an elite player and I try to play like it. That's kind of how I attack the game.
I respect people like yourself, TJ, because like sometimes people look at the shy guys and they think that the quiet ones are like, they just don't like it's different. Like when you see a shy person, you can still be a leader as long as you do so by example. It doesn't mean not all leaders have to be out there like directing, like be the loudmouths. You can be, and you can be a mixture of both. If you lead by example, though, I feel like that's one of the most powerful ways of leading. What I can't stand is the leaders or the quote unquote leaders who all they do is talk, and sometimes that can get you hyped up. All right. And I call him, and this is no disrespect to Ray Lewis, the Hall of Fame linebacker, but man, the dude talks all the time. And just because you whisper really softly and you talk and you have this, that doesn't make you a leader. He was a leader because of his play on the field. He did actually lead by example, but he gets kind of hyped up because of the way he talks. And I hated leaders like that were just talk. Okay, back that up. back that up with the play a little bit. I don't mind if you talk, but make sure you're showing it. And the fact that you were able to lead by example as well, I think that's super, super important. Now, you're going into college. You said you didn't get any D1 offers, but you're going into college at the D2 level. And I want to talk about this. Going from high school football in Texas to Division II, and you're at Southwest Baptist. Talk to us about the experience. Was it? I've heard people. I'm not even joking. I've heard people talk about going from high school in certain levels of high school to like a smaller school. It almost seems like, wow, this is actually a downgrade in a sense because of the fans and so forth. But I want to know from your perspective, what was it like? I don't even know. What was it like playing for Southwest Baptist when you got there? And what was the whole experience like? Did you start? What was the college feel like transitioning from high school in Texas over to Southwest Baptist?
All right, Southwest Baptist is in Bolivar, Missouri. So you probably never heard of Bolivar.
Nope.
I've never heard of Bolivar, Missouri until I attended the school. But it's a very small town. It's 30 minutes next to the third biggest city in Missouri. So the third biggest city in Missouri, that just lets you know how small it is. So it wasn't too big. SBU before I got there was not a winning program. So they wasn't into the athletics that as much before I got there. So, just coming in, I just knew the situation I was coming into. But Coach Stayback approached me before offering me, allowing me to know that whenever I enter in my freshman year, I'll have a chance to start as a freshman. So that was kind of a big reason as to why I attended Southwest Baptist. But going there, the crowd wasn't big, especially not compared to Texas. So I had to adjust to that. But, I have love for the game. So even when I'm out there in Texas with that type of crowd, I normally tune the crowd out and I'm out there by myself. That's how I feel. So that wasn't a problem. It was just really trying to get the team to adapt to like a winning mindset, basically. Get out of there like losing habits. Again, like I said, I like to attack the first play. So just showing them how I attack and how I approach the game, approach preparation. That's kind of like the things that I did and the thing that I had to adjust going to SBU.
So you're talking about adjusting that, like the winning culture. Were they a losing culture prior to you entering that school?
Yes, sir. All previous seasons before me, like year after year after year, they'll go 1-9, 0-10, 0-10, 1-9. So no winning season. But before the GLVC, we were in the MIAA. If you're familiar with MIAA, it's like the SEC of the D2. So they have like Northwest Missouri State, Pitt State, where John Brown played for, and teams like that. So that's big football. Like everything over there is big in height, weight. It's big time football. A lot of those teams play like D1 teams towards the beginning of their schedule, and also that's where SBU was at first, and we were losing when we was in that conference. So we made a jump to GLVC actually 1 year before I got there. So I think it was my senior year before I got there. They competed 1 year, and then we were in the GLVC. So yeah, no winning before I got there, no sir.
Man, that's tough, right? And I want to elaborate on that for just a second because for athletes who are competitors, going into a losing culture, it sucks. A losing culture, it's not fun to play for a losing team. In fact, it's a culture thing. Like everybody kind of gets the losing mindset, and it's unfortunate because when you come into a situation like that and you've got existing players that were there when they were losing, you're battling that because now you've got to, not only you're coming in with your own like competitive nature and stuff. Now you're not only fighting like you want to win, you got to actually get your teammates to believe, when in reality, everyone's like, oh, well, you're on a football team, you should all want to win. That's not always the case. Some people are kind of, they're complacent, and that's how life is, right? Life is like people get complacent sometimes. So talk to us about that, TJ. You said you wanted to like help develop a winning culture. What's something specifically that you did when you came in to kind of like, help motivate your teammates to kind of get that winning mindset?
Yes, sir. So, me, I know you kind of like watch my film. You can see that I am an athlete, but me, I take pride in my passing ability, being able to sit in the pocket and make any type of throw. So, one thing that I brought to SBU as well as UND, whenever I attended there, every day after we practice, every day after practice, me and my guys, my receivers, we would stay after, and I would take them through a circuit, which is just a few catches, kind of like a cumulative of 50 probably catches after practice. But they just run down the line, run at me, different angles, catches, and then we work on the routes that we're going to be using in this upcoming week. So the game plan change week after week. So the routes that we're going to be running and the coverage that the defenses are going to be playing against those routes, we try to run over those routes on there, just to try to get a feel of what we're looking for and just different areas to attack whenever it's game time. So that way, whenever we come to when we're doing our team reps, I know where they're at and they know where I'm putting the ball. So that's something that I brought, as well as allowing them to become comfortable with catching my passes in different type of angles, and then just getting a few catches after practice, just becoming better athletes, better receivers, just crafting.
Man, it's kind of cool to hear that, dude. And I'll tell you, everybody who's listening to this or anyone who might come across this video, whatever it may be on the show, listen, go follow TJ. TJ, what's your Instagram? Can you share your Instagram for us real quick? Your
Yes,
handle?
sir. All social media platforms is the same. RE4L __. That's 2 underscores. RE4L __. That's my name on them.
RE4L. I'm going to put it here __. So it's 2 underscores
Yes, sir.
at the same time. Make sure we have this correct. Does that look right on the screen for you, TJ?
Yes, sir.
Go follow him on social media. I'll tell you why. As I was looking at some of his highlights that you were posting, my goodness, dude, you there was like this deep out route that he's throwing, right? And you have a cannon. It's a laser to the out. Like that's like one of the most difficult passes, in my opinion, in football for a quarterback, whether it's a 3 or a 5 step deep out route. And you launched that like perfect. And I'm like, dude, this guy's got a cannon. So as I started kind of studying your career, I'm like, no doubt this guy has there's
Appreciate that.
dude, it's unreal. Like, and then I'm like, oh yeah, of course I mean, you can totally see why you had the success that you had. Now let's talk about when you're at Southwest Baptist. I mean, freshman of the year in 2015. I mean, you started really putting, working immediately. And as you were saying right there, you're helping your teammates with those things after practice and all those different things that you're doing. Offensive player of the year in 2016 in the conference. And you're just crushing things as you guys go on. You were 10-2 in 2016, and man, you were just crushing it. So talk to us about what happened, after your 2015 through 2017, and what ended up making you go to UIndy after, changing this culture around at Southwest Baptist. What ended up happening to shift to where you ended up making the change?
Yes, sir. So competing at Southwest Baptist, like you said, freshman of the year. That was a pretty tough year. Like I said, trying to get those guys jump on the winning bandwagon. We kind of did so towards the middle of the year, winning some tough games down the stretch. But that year was just, just us out there trying to become a team, become one, finding one mindset, one goal, and then attacking that week after week. No matter how the end result was, we just tried to attack that goal week after week. That's where I kind of learned to be 1-0, the term being 1-0 after each week. I got that from Coach Carter. So we took that mindset. We went 4-6 the first year, and then the second year we went 10-2. That year we knew what we was coming back with. I was a freshman. A lot of my weapons were only sophomores. So we knew we had a few years with each other. So that second year we kind of all stayed up in Missouri, trained with each other, and just attacked the year knowing that this year we were going to win no matter what we had to do. Actually beating the reigning champs of the conference week 2 into the season. Week 3 into the season. Very early, the first conference game of that season. So we had some tough games early in that 2016 season. So we knew if we got those few games, week 1 was Eastern New Mexico. Week 2 was Tarleton State. I actually played EJ Speed, who's a part of the Indianapolis Colts right now. He was sophomore at that time as well too. So I competed against him week 2, and then week 3 we played UND, who were the reigning champs. So those first 3 games was pretty tough, but we came out victorious. So we knew winning those games, we knew the type of season we could have. So we followed going 5-0, and then we finally lost to Truman State after being finally ranked for the first time in school history, 20th in the nation. It was kind of tough because, I guess we kind of relaxed after seeing, that kind of recognition all over. We kind of relaxed that game. We actually didn't score that first half at all. That shut us out. We lost that game by 10. So after losing that game, we knew what it was, and then we finished that year not losing no more, and then making it to the playoffs for the first time in school history. Again, that year I went Offensive Player of the Year, was runner-up in the Heisman, D2 Heisman, and then first team all region. So that was a pretty decent year. We lost first round, pretty tough. We actually played the Heisman winner that first round, Gunslinger. They told us that was gonna put 60 points up on us. We was back and forth talking on social medias, and they actually did put 60 points up. It was kind of tough, but like I say, it was a good experience, especially me being only 19 at the time. I really enjoyed that time, getting to experience that atmosphere. That atmosphere was kind of like a Texas vibe. A lot of cameras out, a big crowd, and just the feeling of the game. I enjoyed that first round of the playoffs. Even though we didn't win, great experience and something I will always remember. But then the next year, 2017 season, that year, first game of the season, I suffered an ankle injury to my left leg. I think me personally, it's from the first game of the season the previous year when we went 10-2. I actually got kicked out of the game during the opening drive of the third quarter. It was my second unsportsmanlike.
Wait, second unsportsmanlike for a guy who's shy. What were you doing, man? What got you that penalty?
Like I told you, when I get out there on the field, man, I get in another mode. So the first one was jawing back at an opposing teammate. We were jawing back and forth. The refs heard what was going on, threw me a flag. My coach was pretty upset because the guy that I was talking to, he was jawing all night. So we was kind of upset at that first one. But the second one, they're gonna say it was on me, but I'm gonna say it was just in game like adrenaline rush, just making a play. But it's actually on my Instagram. It's the first post. I did it was a fake counter pass. It was counter pass. I faked the counter. I was supposed to bootleg to my right side, but I got an edge blitz on my right, so I had to redirect. So I escape left. I kind of make a dude miss, and then I kind of make another dude miss, and he kind of falls. But I didn't know that no one was around me. I thought everyone was running towards me. So then I kind of flipped in the end zone, and they threw me a flag for that, and that was my second one. And after your second one, you get kicked out. So I actually got kicked out. That was the first game of the season. The second game of the season, we were going to play in Texas, which was my home state. Against Tarleton State, and it was big time because we didn't know if I was going to be able to play. My coach petitioned against that ruling because if you get kicked out, you're disqualified from the whole game of the next game. So at the beginning of the next week of practice, I didn't do the first 2 days of practice because I obviously wasn't supposed to be playing until the coach allowed me to know that they changed their mind. But reason why I said that, so junior year, same safety that I hit that move on before diving in the end zone. I had a design run. I actually let my coaches know I was gonna score that run. We was on our 30 going in. I broke through the line, got to the 5-yard line. I should have went outside my block, but I thought I could stiff arm the safety, and trying to graze him and get in the end zone. But he kind of like went under my stiff arm, kind of like hit my leg, grabbed down to my left ankle, and kind of twisted it at the same time. If you watch the film, you can see me, like, my body, like, you can see like a reaction, not just a fall, but like a reaction to, something crazy happening. But after that, my ankle was done for the remaining of that game. We actually lost that game. And, just how the teams, react. They seen me hurt because I was really hurt. I played through injuries. My sophomore year, I played through an AC sprain the entire season that we won the championship. So I'm able to play through all types of injuries, but that one was pretty severe. So just them seeing me down, I think that kind of took a toll on that season. We went 5-5 that junior season, but after that injury, it was just me trying to recover from the ankle injury, and then just try to help my team win because we didn't start off too good. So that's kind of how my junior season went. And then 2018, so some things were happening back home with my family, my mother, most importantly. So I took it, up to me just to go home and deal with those things with her. Just focus on the family aspect and getting that aspect right with myself. So I went home and took classes at community college in the inner city of Dallas, where I earned my associate's degree. I got my associate's degree, and during that time, I wasn't really focusing on football really the first semester, mostly because I knew teams were in season, not really focusing on any extras, but really just focusing more on my school. That's what I had a very good year in school that year, so that's why I used the first semester. And then the second semester, I opened up my options, my recruiting options. So I ended with four D2 offers: Tarleton State, UND, Ferris State, Arkansas Tech. I was going to go to Tarleton State, most definitely, with that being in Texas. I'm close to home, family can come and watch me, friends. But that quarterback, Ben, he was a senior the year before. They petitioned to see if he can come back for a year. It was some stuff going on. It was eligibility, and they won it. So Tarleton State was out. And then Ferris State kind of offered me after UND. So I stuck with UND, especially with them being in the same conference. It would allow me to, I guess, break the records that I was chasing. And then with them being the top team in the GLVC, I knew we would win. So that's kind of why I took the UND route.
Man, what a journey though. Like as you're talking, I'm like, man, you had to battle with some family stuff going on, and that's not easy. I mean, you kind of brush over it real quick, but I mean that's a whole year out of kind of like your routine. I mean, you're used to playing ball every year, you're going to school, and then all of a sudden, you're dealing with some family stuff. Which again, family over everything. I mean, we hear that a lot. I commend you for that because that's not an easy decision for an athlete, especially one who's competing at a higher level, to make that decision to come home and kind of handle business, whatever you needed to do, and still continue on with your academics, and then eventually trust the process that you might get another opportunity, which you did. So eventually, you make it over to UIndy for the final season of your playing career as far as in the collegiate level. And like we said, I mean, you almost threw for 2,400 yards. You had 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken, as I was looking at your statistics. I mean, you absolutely tore it up. And what's interesting is, like, you had over 400 yards rushing. So, like, I mean, you could call yourself a dual threat, but you are a solid passing quarterback. Yeah, it's like you took pride in your passing abilities, like you said, like your pocket presence. Like you got an arm on you. You know how to. You're smart. You go over to UIndy. What was that final year like? How did you guys do? I mean, obviously your stats look good, but how did the team do overall? How did they perform? And was it what you thought it was going to be?
All right. Big shout out to you, Indy. First off, I want to tell them I really appreciate them for allowing me to come in and be a part of that team. Really, that dynasty, especially with those guys winning conference championships back after back, year after year. So I compliment them guys for allowing me to come and be a part of their family. But going into UND, with my schooling, I had some complications with like credit hours being on my transcript, and just things just all of that nature. So I had to wait. I actually didn't even go to UND. I knew I was going to go there like coming up close towards September, but I wasn't like a part of the school. Like they didn't accept me or none of those things. So I was really waiting on that process. But I actually didn't get accepted into the school and my transcript granted until after the first week of fall camp. So I came second week of fall camp. I had the whole playbook, but not being up there with the receivers, the offensive linemen, the coaching staff, it was kind of tough. So I was rushing with that process so I could hurry up and get up there with those guys. And then I think it was that Friday I flew out the same day that I got that good news. And then I got up there, got with those guys, and those guys welcomed me in like no other. Like I was family already. Even though I played those guys 3 years, giving them, my work. Because actually, Coach Keevers was actually the D coordinator previously before becoming the head coach. So that's kind of why I feel like he offered me him having the game plan against me each year personally, not just being the head coach, but being a D coordinator, scheming me, finding out my tendencies, the pros and the cons that I come with. I feel like that's kind of another reason why I received that offer. So, getting up there, I just tried to win those guys over by just my hard work. I really didn't talk too much up there, just because everybody up there was elite athletes. So it was really nothing you could really say that a lot of those guys didn't already know. Those guys attacked every day. So it was really just becoming accustomed to their way of doing things, and then eventually, adding my little bit of my style into their game. So fall camp, I had a position battle with Bryce Stankham. He's returning this year at UND. We position battle. It was pretty tough all the way leading up to actually the day before we left. We got on the bus. So, the day before the game. So the day we were getting on the bus is the day I got the news. And Coach allowed me to know that I was going to be the starter for the season. So that was kind of big because the jitters before going to that game, I didn't know if I was going to start. I didn't know if I was going to get any playing time, so just the uncertainty was there for sure. So after him giving me that information, after that, I relieved that pressure off of my shoulders, and I was able to focus on becoming an athlete again, being on the field again, and trying to get a win for my team. So that first game of the season, we played Ashland, who was ranked, I'm thinking 23rd in the nation or 24th in the nation, and we were 18th in the nation. Big time game. I think it was a game of the week. I had those jitters, but I tried to just, again, like I said, just show those guys that I'm a leader, but most importantly, I'm a winner. So we didn't start good that first half. I think we only scored 3 or 9 points. I'm not sure, but then the second half we came out lights out. I threw 3 touchdowns that second half. I'm sorry, 2 touchdowns that second half, 200 plus yards that second half, and then we came out with a win. Beat those guys by 18 points, and then kind of got rolling. Lost mid-season to Lindenwood. Tough team, pretty good athletes. We had that game, but we didn't come to play. That was a tough game, and then my funnest game playing with UND was against Tarleton State. Not Tarleton State. I'm sorry, Truman State. They were ranked. We were ranked. I'm not sure what they were ranked, but it was big because one of us two was going to, after this game, determine who was going to be the conference champs as well as go to playoffs. So that was a big time opening drive. Third down, I threw a bomb to the topper, and then we just kind of ran off with it after that. Went to playoffs first round. We lost. Good experience though. Being able to be back in that environment, see that type of crowd atmosphere, cameras being out there again. With that being my last year, I really enjoyed it. So, UND, very much good experience and opportunity. It was very much good being a part of that winning culture, atmosphere, and those type of guys, high class guys, and I really appreciate them for allowing me to be a part of that team.
Oh, that's super cool, man. I want to ask you a question, TJ, for athletes out there, whether they're at the high school level, collegiate level, or even at the little league level at this point. They get butterflies, right? They get the nervous, and you were referencing even at you're a senior, you've got experience, but you did have nerves before the game, especially that first game of the season, just leading
Most
up to
definitely.
it. What advice would you give to those athletes in battling the nerves? What's something that you do to kind of help calm yourself to focus in so that you can compete, so you don't get that paralyzing fear before you go out and compete, that performance anxiety, if you will? What's something you do?
For me, again, like I said, my preparation is like no other. So the way that I attack, practice or just training by myself leading up to the game. I kind of know that the work that I put in, I know that that I can lean on that whenever it comes game time. So one thing I can tell the athletes out there is that if you prepare right, um, the right way leading up to the game, you should just let the work that you've done throughout the week, speak for itself. You should not be nervous because I mean, like I said, if you put that work in throughout the week, you know how you gonna attack that day. So
Yeah,
that's how.
you can trust your instincts pretty much at that point. If you've put the work in, even if you get the butterflies, just the game time jitters, if you will,
Yeah,
they'll go away as long as you put the work in, because you can just trust the process. You're like, okay, I know
training.
what I'm going to do when the ball snaps, whistle blows, we're ready to go. I know that I've done all I was supposed to do. That's one of
Yes,
the things I always tell people, like, it's like that in life too. Like if you're going in for a job interview or something and
yeah, the
you didn't
training.
do the if you didn't do the research, then yeah, you're going to be nervous. If you're going in for a test at school and college and you didn't study, then yeah, you're going to be nervous. But if you studied and you did, all those things should prepare you. You might get nervous still, but then like once the whistle blows and whatever happens, and it's time to perform, you should be just fine. I think that's awesome, man. Going into the post collegiate career right now, then TJ, you said you're living back in Dallas right now. You're training. I'm following you on social media, checking out what you're doing. You're out there, you're slinging the ball everywhere. Like you're getting
Sure.
work in. What's it look like for you, and what's the ultimate goal for TJ Edwards? We want to know what we're going to see from you in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yes, sir. So right now, like you said, I'm in Dallas right now, training. I'm still taking classes through UND. Shout out to them for allowing me to finish. That's something that I'm very much blessed to have that opportunity. So right now, I'm just taking online courses and then training every day. Trying to get better, finding out my weaknesses, the things that I need to work on. Because again, like I said, I take passing passing the ball very seriously. So um, finding out where my weaknesses are and trying to get better at those things. Shout out to the trainer that I'm using right now, Coach McLean Carter. He's elite. He played at Texas Tech as well as in the Big Ten. So he knows the game. He knows a few things. I'm getting coached by that great coach up there at Texas Tech. So he knows how to be an elite passer. He was under Patrick Mahomes, so he's seen greatness, and he allows me to know each day I come out that I have that talent, I have that pro talent. So that keeps me going, that keeps me motivated, and that keeps me attacking each and every day, each and every rep. So training right now. I'm with 300 Sports. That's my agency. Sean Nayato. He's working with me, trying to get me workouts. Right now, I had the Colts and the Cowboys. I had those workouts before the coronavirus actually happened. But everything happened for a reason. So I'm just staying at it. The CFL season was canceled this year. I had a shot at that as well. Talked to 6 of the 9 teams. I'm a part of the CFL team, CFL league. So, I'm just staying at it, man. Really, just is trusting the process, getting better throughout, but also finding out other things besides football that I enjoy. As you can see, I have on my wrong side my brand, Real Underdog.
Yes, sir.
Real Wear is the name of my brand, but Real Underdog is the first episode, the first edition shirt that I dropped. So I'm falling in love with the fashion route. I've always enjoyed fashion, but just finding out other things that I enjoy doing besides football. So that's something else I'm doing right now, and just enjoying life, man. Getting older, so I know I'm not that young buck no more. So learning, becoming more wise, and just loving to meet new people like you yourself. Just meeting new people, just getting outside of my bubble, really.
I love it, man. I love it. And we'll reference it once again. The very first question I asked you was, what has football taught you? And you mentioned adversity. I mean, this coronavirus has kind of thrown everybody, especially in the sports world, for a loop, and especially guys trying to make roster spots that weren't drafted and so forth. Like, there's usually a preseason.
The little school guys too as well.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Is like it's tough. It's tough on a lot of guys, but you are, it's not unfamiliar. You're used to adversity, so it's just a different type of adversity. So you're going to continue to put the work in, inside and outside of football, and take advantage of the opportunities when they do present themselves. I mean, hopefully, we're looking at next year. There's opportunities like The Rock purchasing the XFL, and hopefully maybe there will be an opportunity again there, because I've spoken to guys who played in the XFL. They absolutely loved it, actually, this last season. Very professionally ran organization, awesome, but unfortunately fell victim to the coronavirus, the same as everybody else did. CFL is another opportunity. So hopefully these things will be back up and running, and if that time comes and you're still, wanting to play and get another opportunity, these guys will give you that chance. And in the NFL, if those camps come up, hopefully they'll give you that chance. As you see, I'm a Cowboys fan, representing my CD Lamb jersey right now. Got to represent.
I see.
Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, you mentioned Cowboys. I wouldn't mind seeing you over there, getting a chance at the roster. That would be super dope.
Yeah,
man, I just want to ask one question for you, TJ. If I'm an NFL organization right now and I'm listening to this and I come across this somehow on the platform, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking at TJ Edwards. What does TJ Edwards bring to our organization outside of just his football talent that would make us want to actually pay him to be on our roster?
Yes, sir. TJ Edwards is a guy who thinks about others mostly before he thinks about himself. I'm all about getting the next guy better. No matter if it's a guy under me, next to me, above me. I'm always looking to get guys better. So I'm someone who's not selfish, very humble, especially of my God-given abilities. I like to worship others before I worship myself. And someone who's like I said, is gonna make the next guy next to me better, the organization better, and I'm a winner. All I know how to do is win. So that's what you're gonna get from me. Someone who works hard, who don't say a lot. Like I said, interviews is not even my big thing. So I'm a shy guy. I'm not all out and about, real loud. But I'm someone who's gonna show you how to work, and show you how to win. Most definitely.
Yeah, you're a shy guy, but when it comes time to play, you come and put the work in, man. It's awesome. So if anyone comes across this video, skip back to earlier in the interview. We'll hear yeah, you know how to win. You do put people before yourself. You've given us examples of that time and again throughout the interview. And if I'm an NFL organization, I'm definitely keeping my eyes on yourself. And also make sure you follow TJ on the Instagram. If you're a part of the NFL organization, you're a scout, check him out. Check out his talent and ability, then listen to this interview and you get to see even more outside of just that. So, TJ, we just want to say thank you for joining the Gametime Guru podcast, because, man, this was a crazy good interview. And I'm just going to, from my heart to yours, I wish you the best of luck. And I'm looking forward to seeing where you go, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And I wish you the best. I know you're gonna be this platform is gonna be bigger than ever. I can already feel it.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for that. And anybody else who's listening to the show, who comes across this, whether it's on the Facebook feed, whether it's on Apple Podcasts or any of your podcast platforms, YouTube, whatever, make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. Go follow TJ. And hey, if you get a chance, leave me a 5-star review, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Take care. Guys, thanks so much for listening to another episode of my show. Now, if you could go and do me a favor, head over to iTunes, give me 5 stars, and leave me a review, it would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your support.